Hello, good day everyone. My name is Engineer Collins Amam. So I'm here to fix a problem that has been happening over the years. I don't know if you live in a property where over time you've always had septic tank issues, especially for those of us living here on the island. I think this video would actually expose everything you need to know, either as a landowner, an engineer, or even a person that wants to rent a property. For the first stage you need to apply when doing a perfect septic tank, especially on the island. For those living on the island, Lagos, you would have to do a form work. You have to take the measurement, the size of the septic tank you want. Then you call your carpenter, they do a form work. After your carpenter is done, then the iron benders need to work on the form work. Then the next thing you cast, you do the normal casting, just like the way you cast your foundation. So the size of your septic tank depends on what you want. It could be 9 by 9, it could be 6 by 6. It depends on the kind of property you have. Depends on the size of septic tank you want to do. It depends. It varies on individuals or property size. So now, after doing that and it's casted, the second stage is by digging. That's the digging process. You call people to start digging. So they need to dig to bury the septic tank. Mind you, it's surface, it's on the surface. So they need to dig it to the level of that you want, that your compound level that you want. So they need to dig it to that level. So in the process of digging, you see, for people staying on the island, the moment you go more than 2 to 3 feet, you start seeing water. Water will start, the water level from the ground will start rising into the septic tank. So they need to keep digging till they get to the level you want the septic tank to settle. That's the second stage. Then after you've achieved that, you need to start the process whereby you need to start sealing, because mind you, you are done with the digging, so you need the process of sealing. What we normally do, we do a precast. We can do, depending the size of the septic tank, we do a precast. Then the precast will now throw the stones inside the septic tank. We throw it inside the septic tank. So after we've thrown inside the septic tank, we'll now go ahead and activate the pumping machine. From the video, you see that in the septic tank we have a pipe at the center of the septic tank. So that pipe, we already buried the pipe to the earth, below the earth. So we'll now connect it with the pumping machine. The pumping machine can work for 2 days. It will keep evacuating the water until the water level dries. But just know that the water level can't dry 100%, but to a level that we need to start sealing. So when we notice the level that we need to start sealing the septic tank, then we'll start applying the things that we need to start sealing. At first, we need to start pouring. After the precast, we still need to pour granite. So we need to put nylon to make sure that you don't have any leakage. Then after that, we'll now start the normal casting, like just the way you cast your German floor, your foundation. We do the normal casting. As we cast, the water is still being evacuated. So don't get it wrong. You have to keep constantly evacuating the water, because as you cast, the water level is still rising. But with the aid of the pumping machine, it would be pushing back. It will be pushing back the water. It will be pushing back the water level in the septic tank while you are still casting. So this stage is, in fact, is almost the most very, very critical stage of the septic tank work. So this stage is the stage where we have to take off the evacuation pipe. After you've done your casting, everything, mind you, the evacuation is still going on. So this is the stage where you have to take off your evacuation pipe. Now, when you take off the evacuation pipe, immediately you take off the evacuation pipe, or before you do that, make sure that all your sealing elements, you've gotten them your waterproof cement, your cement, the casted your casted granite and cement. So when you've gathered all these things, you now go down into the septic tank, and the moment you remove the pipe, the evacuation pipe, where the pipe is coming from the pumping machine, the moment you remove that pipe, you insert your sealing element. You start pushing it into that pipe. You start pushing it. From the video, you see how we were doing it. So you start pushing it into the pipe. You push it until the point that you find out that water is no longer coming out. But don't get it wrong, water will still come out, like no less than 1 or 2 buckets of water is what you get. So after that, you leave it. Then the next day you come back and see. If when you come back, the water level rises to, like, let's say 1 feet, you know that your sealing elements didn't work. So you have to evacuate again to reseal that particular point where you removed the pipe. But if everything is okay, the level didn't rise to where you left it, because it's not going, the moment you seal, it's not going to rise to the point where the water you left there is. So what you now do, you can use buckets to evacuate the water, or you just quickly use your pumping machine to pump it out. So that's the most crucial stage, and that's the last stage or last thing that you need to do. The moment this is done, you are good to go. So the last stage is the stage where you have to do the slab. That one you call your carpenter to do the form work, and your iron benders to do the form work. Then make sure that you use 16 mm, 12 mm, for the beams, straight beams, so that it solidifies it for vehicular movement. Vehicles can move on it. So that way, you have a very, very good septic tank. So with this, you don't have issues with septic tank, or anywhere you build, or anywhere you want to rent your house. You ask this question: how was the septic tank built? Because over time, septic tanks have been major issue in homes. Thank you. So if for especially for those living on the island, if you apply this whole strategy I talked about, I'm assuring you 99% you will never have a bad septic tank or a leaking septic tank, because this is a proven strategy I've used in many places, on many of my sites where we do construction, to have a successful sewage system. So if you're interested in getting this work done in your site, you can call us on our numbers. We'll be ready to deal with you and work with you.